Hello once again. Welcome to part 2, Star Wars and Unboxing fans of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba. Why do I say part 2? Well, because I was starting to do an unboxing of these Republic Elite Forces. There are two packs of 7 each. And then I realized, you know what? I really feel like this deserves to have, to be spread into 2 episodes, because it was just a lot. And there was a lot going on with the unboxing portion of this. I'm going to try to do it a little faster, as I've kind of learned a little bit from my way of doing this the last time. But again, just to give you some background on this is part of our Battle Pack series that came out about between 10 and 15 years ago. It was a really great way Hasbro did of releasing lots of figures into one shot. And in many cases, they were these exclusive sets, not sold in regular stores. This was an Entertainment Earth exclusive. They were able to utilize some more, or I should say, less well-known backgrounds, like media, such as comic books, video games, novelizations, that kind of thing. So these characters had never existed anywhere in the actual theatrical releases of movies, but they have found their places in other expanded universes. So, nice way for them to kind of appeal to the collector, and at the same time not make them in mass quantities, because a lot of people would not even know who these characters are, and therefore wouldn't want to. Children may not want to play with them. So that was a smart move on their part. I hope that they're looking at ways to do that again and to bring that back. I know that the climate is changing when it comes to toys, not just toy collecting with adults, but toy playing with toys for children. I mean, the whole play market is very different than it used to be. We've talked about that on previous episodes. So it's hard to, gauge where Hasbro's going to go with it. That's why I always look forward to Toy Fair. It's coming up very soon, so that I can get an idea of what is coming up and what we can be expecting. So why don't we get right on to this? I will say that Hasbro was known back in the day for definitely releasing, or I should say, packaging their figures in such a way that it really took a full set of tools to get them out of their package. This one, I would say, kind of is in the middle of the road. It has some challenge and others not so much. I'll keep this box over here so that I can read the bios. And like other battle packs, and I said this in the last episode, the battle packs, if they're really set up in a great diorama format, I hesitate to want to take them out of the package, because there's no better way for me to display them than the way they did it. There's a real basic background here. Nothing you can really even see too much of. So I kind of feel like I don't have much guilt, opening this baby up. So what I'm going to do, and what I learned from the last one, is a couple of things. Number one, and by the way, you can see over here to my left, there's the Omega Commandos, or Omega Squad. Is that what it was? I know. I don't want to give you misinformation here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Omega Squad. Okay, so there's 3 Mandalorians with the 4 Omega Squad figures. And this one is the Mandalorians and Clone Troopers. So it's basically 1, 2, 3... Yeah, 3 Mandalorians with 2 ARC Troopers and 2 Clone Troopers. So definitely a great way to build your armies. So for those that like that. And I want to talk about that while I'm doing this. I am such a fan of the creativity that people come up with when it comes to their Star Wars fandom. And not just Star Wars fandom, it's Star Trek fandom, Doctor Who fandom, Lord of the Rings fandom. It's all really, really cool. And what I mean by this is very simple. So many awesome creative things have come out of the love of Star Wars. So many. It's too many to even mention, but think about cosplaying. There's one thing right off the bat. Oh, there go my Omega Squad. It's all right. They're all going to fall probably by the time I'm cutting all these out. But you got cosplaying. You got the R2-D2 builders. You got the Mandos, the Mandalorian mercs. You've got the Rebel Legion. These are all costuming, right? But you also got the Saber Squad. You have people that focus... my poor... I'll put them back up in a few minutes, I promise. You got your Saber Squad, the people that focus mainly on saber dueling. You've got the all the artists that create not just comic books and fanzines and things of that nature, but you also got just regular artists that do Star Wars art, Star Wars inspired art. Some of it's matchup. Look at all the T-shirts that come out. People create that, and then people crocheting Baby Yodas and food, making cupcakes and all sorts of things. I mean, it's such an amazing, endless artistic inspiration there. So something to that, I say, and I got to give credit. These poor guys are all falling over. I got to give credit to Lucasfilm because there could have been, and there have been situations where people have come around and really given it a hard time, giving fans a hard time for their, and coming up with that whole licensing, utilizing the whole copyright licensing thing. I'm looking at you, Paramount, Star Trek, Paramount. Yeah, you know who you are. I think you might have loosened up a little bit lately, and that's good. But Lucasfilm, and specifically George Lucas, has never really been that way. In fact, they've been more inclined to say, hey, let's invite these people to the party, which I always thought was a great, very great, tasteful thing to do. Look what happened at the Rose Bowl. Go type in, and speaking of 2007, type the 2007 Rose Bowl in YouTube, and you'll find some great footage of these great Lucasfilm sponsored floats that were using it to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Star Wars, which is great. But guess what else? They brought in members of the 501st to come in and march with them, like from all over the country and the world. So I think that was like fantastic. What a great thing to do. They weren't sitting there saying, oh, you shouldn't be using Star Wars items. No, they were like, yeah, by all means, do it. And on top of that, guess what? Watch the last episode of the last 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. There's a whole slew of stormtroopers out there, and guess what? They're not all actors. They had a limited budget. What do? They just asked the stormtroopers to come out. Look at what Kathleen Kennedy did with oops, this guy lost his hand. Oops. Look at what Kathleen Kennedy did with R2 builders. Walking through the R2 builders, she's like, my goodness, we got to use these guys. They've done all the work for us, and they do an amazing job. And they're intelligent, very well-rounded human beings. Where? Oh, I see. Okay, good. I was like, oh no. You know what I mean? So there's all this great stuff, and I say to myself, my goodness, why would anybody want to fight this? This is, first of all, it's a imitation, sincerest form of flattery. Hello. And it's just such a great thing to see that, and to see Lucasfilm and Disney support that. Yeah, and occasionally they have to kind of pull the reins back from time to time. And I get that, but still, I think more often than not, they're willing to work with fans and actually put them, utilize their gifts and their services and their talents, rather than try to shut them down. So I think that's really awesome. But anyway, so the crafting and the things that people have come up with are just amazing. And if you ever want to get a really good look at it, go to a Comic-Con. And I mean any Comic-Con. And it doesn't even have to be like Star Wars Celebration, although Star Wars Celebration is awesome. But you can also find this same stuff at like any kind of Comic-Con, even like at the small ones that happen locally. And don't be afraid to support them, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be, I consider myself a really big fan of the Star Wars franchise. And I've been to many celebrations. I haven't been to any of the newer ones post-Disney acquisition. Not because I didn't want to, okay? But because, it's expensive to go. And I went to 3. And the 3 that I went to, let's just say that the amount of money I spent just to get there, and, because it wasn't just about spending money there. I mean, you had to get there, you had to pay for your flight, you had to pay for your lodging. So I've been always wishing they would get an East Coast celebration, like upper northern East Coast, like New York, Philly. Come on, Lucasfilm, get on it. Us Easterners would be very, very appreciative of it. But I also realize that they're also trying to, encourage people to tie in vacations to either Walt Disney World or Disneyland. And synergy is a big thing with Disney, and I understand that. So, but I will say that they are amazing. And Disney, leaving no fan behind, does their live streams with the Star Wars show, and that's awesome. And they have interviews, and they, you get a better view. If I ever did go to get back to a Star Wars Celebration, which I do intend to at some point, I would, frankly, I don't think I would bother going to a lot of the panels. I would go and enjoy, because this is what I was trying to get to. There are literally hundreds of amazing and talented artists that are, doing crafting and selling their wares that are beautiful and one of a kind. Like you can have something in your collection that nobody else has, or at least, as opposed to a set of figures that a lot of people purchase, you can find unique pieces of art or custom made items that no one has ever made, no one has ever done before. So I always encourage that, and you don't even have to go to Celebration or to San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con. No, you can go to I went to a comic art shop. I went to a comic. The weapons, the darn weapons. Come on, dude. Come on, get it in there. Get it in your hand. Come on, get it together. Get it together there, ARC Trooper. I went to a local comic show. And when I mean local, I mean in my little rinky-dink town. And maybe there were 2 rooms, right? 2 rooms filled with, I don't know, maybe 25 vendors and maybe 25 artists. And we, supported them and, made a few purchases. Some of them were really simple. Some of them were art pieces. Some of them were, just some collectibles. It was great. So I highly recommend that. So, oh no, I lost his. Oh, there it is. Lost his headset. Sorry if my mic went clipped there a little. Okay. So I'll get all of these talked about, and again I'll put all photos and everything in with these, so you get a good idea. And once again, these Mandos, I like that the ARC Troopers and the Clone Troopers have a wider stance on the way they lay their feet down, because these guys don't really. So you have to just kind of. I'm actually using this guy's weapon to hold him up. And come on. All right, so wow, that was better. I mean, the last time I had to do that in high speed, but this one it only took about I can't really tell, about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. All right, there we go. Whew. All right, so Republic Elite Forces, Mandalorians, and Clone Troopers. So let's talk about the Clone Troopers. Okay, we've got grown and engineered to be super soldiers, exceptionally obedient, reliable, and strong. After learning military skills through holographic flash training and live fire exercises, they have become the perfect combat weapons. What I love about these particular Clone Troopers is they do come with these little antenna things. One just popped off, but they're kind of cool. And they also have the Mandalorian signet kind of right on their chest. So I guess they are there specifically for them. These, I just lost the antenna again. Oh, this silly antenna. What is with you, antenna? It's one of those moments where it does not pay to have a grayish floor, because it can get lost pretty easy. These are Clone Troopers, but their helmets do not come off to reveal any heads. So just be aware of that, not with the Clone Troopers. Then we have the ARC Trooper. Stay. ARC Troopers. These elite troopers receive the same training as all Clone Troopers, then get specialized instruction from Jango Fett himself. Although genetically engineered, ARC Troopers retain Fett's independent and daring nature for their leadership roles. So that's interesting. I always love these characters. They come with this really interesting kind of thing. And they do have the Jango Fett look. I'll try to indicate that on the photos. Cool. All right, moving right along. We have our female Fett, or I should say not Fett, our female Mandalorian, Isabet Reu. Isabet is eager to train the clones in the ways of her people, from their battle tactics to their cultural beliefs, so that the greatness of the Mandalorian people will once again sweep across the galaxy with all of its power and glory. So, really cool. And again, helmet does come off to reveal the face. I think this is the kind of thing that the Mando Mercs might have utilized to design their own armor. So we have Dread Priest. Interesting name, Dread Priest. Dread relishes the challenge of creating elite soldiers. Chosen by Jango to be a training sergeant on Kamino, he forms a secret battle circle among his fellow sergeants in which they practice, quote-unquote, their training techniques in brutal competitions. Ooh, I don't know. Not somebody I would want to run into. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Mij Gillamar. Gotta hand it to the Star Wars names there. Mij Gillamar. Mij is one of the Mandalorians chosen to train the clones on Kamino. He is a natural leader and a skilled warrior. He who can instill in the clones an unyielding commitment to protect the ideals to which they have sworn their allegiances. So, there you go. All right, so really, really cool. Okay, and when you put these guys together, which I'm going to do just now, and I'll get a photo of that, kind of wrap up our whole series with these. We got our, do we have them all here? Yeah. Try to get them where you can still see them. Mandalorian mercs. You know, it's so interesting to see, like, because I know that there was the Siege of Mandalore. That's the ever so infamous Siege of Mandalore that I believe is going to have some telling in the upcoming Clone Wars 7th season, which comes out in just a few weeks on Disney+. So that's cool. All right, so there you go. Look at that, 14 figures, okay? I do not remember what the exact cost of these. I do believe I did purchase them later on at a discount, okay? So, you know, when you're, you know, again, and I've always, people who've watched my channel say, be careful of that, because I believe that one of the reasons we're not seeing as much collectibles available is because we have not made a lot of purchases. If you don't purchase the stuff, folks, they're not going to make them. So if you want to collect, you got to collect. You got to commit and make the financial commitment. Now, I do agree that we need to, you know, speak with our pocketbooks when it comes to what they make. If you're not into Galaxies of Adventure, if you're not into Forces of Destiny, okay, then don't spend your money there. But, you know, when the high-end stuff comes out, or even the middle-of-the-road end, or the Hasbro stuff that's like this is what people need to spend the money on. So, for them to keep making it. Which they did for a while, but I just think that, you know, we all have to pick and choose. But I love these. I think they're really great. I'm glad I took them out of these packages. I think that they there's far more potential with them out of the package. And the Stormtroopers, or sorry, Clone Troopers, excuse me, the ARC Troopers and the Omega Squad are unique enough that they won't get confused with other ones. So that'll do it for part 2 of Star Wars Unboxing Show that's by Darth Tuba. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Again, hit the notification button. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. And so much so happy for having all the new subscribers. Welcome to all of you. Let other people know. Let's get that subscriber number up. I will be doing some more unboxings and shelf talk in the weeks to come. I do have an upcoming Disney trip, which we will be doing some live stuff too. I'm trying to get some live streaming action going, but unfortunately I'm having some issues with that. It doesn't seem to want to do that with my phone. So I have the subscriber count, but it doesn't seem to happen. So let's keep getting some more subscribers and see if we can help with that. Until next time, though, folks, thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you. This is the way.